Welcome to the Salty Nerd Podcast. Today we're talking the newest movie on HBO Max, The Menu, that everybody's talking about. It's some fancy movie that just came out.
I don't know if it's the newest.
I don't think it's the newest. It's been out for a while.
Has it? Is it 2022 or 2023?
We're definitely not new to this.
We don't give a shit.
It's from 22.
We just watched
is it from last year?
Yeah.
Whatever. You're fine.
It was like November of last year.
Hey man, you need to get your shit together. Are we like 30 seconds in yet? What is it?
Honestly,
15?
the more of this I drink, the more
Anyway.
I like it.
Yeah, Jude, introduce your cocktail to the folks that are watching.
I created a cocktail specifically for The Menu. We recently had a really nice conversation with the people at Frey Ranch Whiskey, and we tried a cocktail from them earlier today called the Ranch Hand. It's on their website at freyranch.com. But in my research, I realized that there are no whiskey cocktails per my research. If you have a different opinion or if you have different information, fine. Don't yell at me.
Comment
but
below.
I couldn't find any whiskey cocktails named after women, which I thought was weird because whiskey is typically known as being a man's drink. And so I wanted to create a cocktail for women, not just for women, but about a woman. And it's named after me, called the Crimson Bride.
Like it.
So it is whiskey, Aperol, and bitters, lemon, and honey.
It's actually growing on me.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say
It's growing on me now.
It's good.
It's tasting
good.
better the more I drink.
Yes.
I know you guys don't like bitters in your drinks, but it's like a kind of a play on a, I don't know, like an old fashioned meets a martini.
Yeah.
I approve.
I like. Yeah.
I think it's good.
It's getting better. The more I drink, the more I like it.
I'm not gonna lie. The first drink I took of this, I was like,
Yeah, it's
but now that I'm a couple
it's a little
drinks
bit of
in,
a punch.
it's
Yeah,
weird.
I dig it.
I'm glad.
Cool.
I'm glad.
It's getting better.
I would
All right.
definitely pay $8 at a normal bar.
14.
14 at a strip bar.
I would charge 14.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to watch The Menu today?
It was mine.
I don't
Yours?
know. Was it?
Because I think we need to watch some hoity-toity fancy movies. once in a
Hoity-toity
while
fancy movies?
that
Is
aren't
what
made
this
in
is?
1982.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe.
so
I'll bring it
I mean,
up.
I will
Cheese-
watch
it has
Anya Taylor-Joy.
It
Is
has
that
he who has
Anna.
it has
Voldemort?
Voldemort in it. He
Yeah.
who shall not be
Does.
named. You said his
Yeah.
name.
Oh, am I
Don't
not
do
supposed
it.
to say that?
Don't do it.
God, dude.
That's how they find you.
You just ruined it. The Death Eaters are going to.
Did you say it 3 times or just once?
Nope, just once.
Oh,
We're
God.
done. It's
They can
over.
find you.
We're
Okay,
done,
that's it.
man.
Anyway, do you have a synopsis?
I do.
Great, go do it, guys. Go for it, Jude.
Hold on a second. I'm going to go get some foam to put in the top of my drink.
Yeah,
I can make you foam.
give us
You
the
want foam?
synopsis.
I'll make you some foam.
Take it away.
Okay, so 2022, The Menu, rated R with a runtime of 1 hour, 47 minutes. This had a budget of $35 million. And I know that this didn't show in theaters, but it was sold. What do you think this brought in?
Oh, you're going straight to HBO Max?
No, it was.
No, it had
Was it in the theaters?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, forget that. This had a budget of $35 million. What do you think this brought into the box office?
I have no idea. 35 million is not that much for the cast that's involved.
Good cast.
Good
Good
cast.
Stacked cast, if
Stacked. I'm gonna say I don't know. It made a profit. I'm gonna say it probably made 78 to 100 million.
you will. Okay. Vader, what do you think this
I'm going to
brought in?
go, I want to say 60, 65.
Okay. This had a budget of $35 million and a box office of $79 million. Alex, you win the speed
Hey,
phone.
no, it's a refrigerator.
Refrigerator.
Yeah.
Mini fridge. You win a mini fridge.
Sweet. All right, take it away.
You ready?
Yes.
Get ready for a culinary experience to die for. Voldemort's cooking up 7 courses to murder your palate. Tyler's date broke up with him just before the secluded island dinner he's been fanboying over, and knowing it's a couples-only event of carnivorous carnage, he hires call girl Margot to join him instead. When the Dark Lord spies the Queen's Gambit sitting where Miss Westerville, who really dodged a bullet, should be, he singles her out among the guests, and Margot must choose to dine as a giver or a taker. Discuss.
I didn't like this movie.
You didn't like
Really?
it? Really?
Yeah,
What's wrong with you?
there's a couple things that my suspension of disbelief
wait.
was questioning.
Yeah, I have questions.
Was it the word mouthfeel?
Please don't say mouthfeel.
Too late. Mouthfeel.
No, I like that word.
That didn't get to
That was
you?
an interesting word. I like that.
Like, this drink has a good mouthfeel.
Don't say it. Don't say mouth.
I say that about wine all the time.
I found
does that Oscar Mayer wiener have a good mouth feel to you?
I'm pretty sure that they purposefully made most of the characters insufferable in this movie to prove a point.
Of course they did.
Absolutely.
I'm guarantee you. I'm not smart enough to figure it out, but I know there's some kind of a class distinction message going on here.
Oh yeah,
100%.
for sure.
Each one of the tables have something to do with the 7 deadly sins. I think. I'm like,
You've obviously, and it shows, never been at a very prestigious, several course dinner with a bunch of douchebags.
Let's stop right there. Hold on. Because there's another thing that broke my suspension of disbelief too. This is a $1,250 a head dinner.
Yes.
Yeah.
$1,250 is not that much fun.
I would totally pay
for them to be like, we're going to take you on a yacht to our private island and feed you a 7-course meal from the most renowned chef in the world. That's not $1,200. That's like $10,000 a head, and then maybe you can be like, this is very prestigious. Like we're gonna have
they show up at the dock and they go like
Jeff Bezos and Bill. These are a bunch of fucking plebs who want to pretend like they're rich. They're not actually super rich people.
Right.
So that immediately I was like, okay.
No, wait a second. I disagree.
You disagree?
We got the major foodie who saved up all his money to go to this. You got the guys who are the business partners.
They're new rich. Yeah.
They've got like YouTube money or something, right?
Yeah.
And you got the critic and her boyfriend.
And
you got the washed up actor John Leguizamo, who's probably playing himself.
For a little bit
in this movie, and his assistant.
Weren't you that guy in Spawn?
Weren't you in Mario Brothers or something? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed this movie.
Really?
Yeah, I more than I think I should have.
Okay.
It's not. I don't. I'm so conflicted because the movie snob in me wants to really enjoy this movie, but the normal dude is like, this movie is fucking dumb. But I'm somewhere in the middle.
It's not a bad. It's not. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying, me personally, I didn't enjoy it as much as I think.
Film.
I think they were trying to present something that I just wasn't.
I like how they make fun of the whole celebrity restaurant super scene. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, every asshole that's been on TV has a restaurant 5 miles away from us that is just like this stuff. We can go right now and we can go down to Haleo.
We can go to Hell's Kitchen.
Or we can go to Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
And we can go to the fancy bar and the hidden back room that cost you $350.
I fucking love those backroom restaurants.
I know, me too. I'd go for a 47-course meal that they make in front of you. And you get a little nibble of some ground up mosquito paste mixed with some fucking
mosquito paste.
Puff pastry with a little creme fraiche.
Tastes like malaria.
I want to go around the table. What's the most expensive meal you've ever purchased here in Las Vegas? For me, it was $250 a plate.
I'm right about there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Jude? Bizarre Meats. It was like $700 for the both of us.
God
damn.
Yeah.
Wow. So, Kate, you're the same Bizarre Meats?
I mean, I was at a business dinner at Nobu one time, and that was in the thousands of dollars.
See, that's what I'm saying. $1,000 a plate. These guys.
That wasn't per person, though.
It was close to per person.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I mean, the four of us live in a town where the average price of a fucking hamburger
I can't take my family out.
is $47. Okay? It's insane.
Dude.
It's like, they get the Wagyu beef with your hamburger. It's like, no, motherfucker, I'm going to In-N-Out.
Extra for the fries.
Yeah.
You want some pommes frites with your hamburger?
You want some truffles on those fries? It'll be an extra $60.
You guys are all making fun of me for being wedding crazy, but I'm trying to plan a wedding, and there are children. And I'm like, I'm not spending $100 per plate on a fucking 9-year-old when they want a hamburger.
I just want some mac and cheese and a hamburger, motherfucker. That's all I want.
About this movie.
But that's kind of the point of this movie.
Yeah,
right?
that's exactly the point of this movie.
And what I think is really interesting about this movie is, so you go through the whole culinary experience, and I took notes on all of the courses if you want to know.
Great.
But what's really fun about this movie is they do the total ridiculous, nobody wants a deconstructed anything.
Yeah, no, they really don't.
If you take the movie and you deconstruct all the douchebaggery out of it, what you're getting is a tale of someone who has been in a job and has lost it and has gone out of his mind and is here to punish them.
See that?
This is what was that fucking Kurt Douglas movie where he's stuck in traffic and he starts fucking murdering
Michael
people.
Douglas.
Michael Douglas.
Oh, yeah.
Falling down.
Falling down. This is falling down.
Yeah.
But in a restaurant.
Well, for a chef.
I think it says something to me that the main character in the end of this movie is a whore who likes a cheeseburger.
Don't slut shame.
Oh, hey.
You know what
All
I mean?
she did was watch that guy jerk off.
And call him daddy.
Did you guys hit the David Ramsey? Is it David Ramsey?
Gordon
Ramsay. Thank you. Gordon Ramsay reference in this when he called somebody a donkey for not liking something. I was like, oh, that's a Gordon Ramsay reference.
Gordon Ramsay. I mean, this guy is basically.
I think they should have got Gordon Ramsay just to play the part. It would have been better.
That would have been
no offense. I mean, the guy who plays this is a really, really good actor. I'm not trying to take anything away.
Fiennes.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor. I love him. He's in the newer James Bond movies. He's Voldemort, of course.
For what this movie,
fantastic.
For what this movie is, I think all the characters in it are spot on.
I will say this.
You know what I mean?
One of the things, the reason why I didn't like the movie is because of how well everybody was played as their insufferable people.
So that should make you like this movie.
No, well, I can appreciate the movie, but personally, I'm not going to watch it again.
Have you ever been in a room with these people though?
I don't think I'd make it. I'd freak the fuck out.
They're insufferable.
They seriously are insufferable.
Yeah. We've both worked on the strip before. We know these people intimately.
Mouthfeel.
Please don't say mouthfeel.
Too late. Mouthfeel.
Normal conversation.
God.
I say that sometimes.
This is
done.
When you go to a pretentious cafe and you order just like a coffee and they're like, well, would you like this coffee or that coffee? Or do you want the French roast or this roast? I'm like, I don't fucking care. 7-Eleven Columbia fucking roast, bitch. So fucking pour it out.
One of the interesting things about this movie is that it actually is kind of a satire on the
for sure.
celebrity chef, like culinary experience dining, fad that's going on. And the two people who wrote the screenplay used to be writers for The Onion, which is like the satire news site.
Yeah, it's
perfect sense.
But also the team behind Succession, and they've also worked on Game of Thrones and Shameless.
That makes sense because everyone in Succession is a terrible person.
Yeah. So like the director of this like directed almost all of Succession and stuff like that.
Wow.
And so like it really is about kind of like deconstructing rich snobbery and breaking it down, because the whole kind of theme of this movie is that the pretentiousness of rich people has robbed any joy out of the experience of cooking and eating. And so Ralph Fiennes, as the celebrity chef, he's going to punish them for destroying his love of his of his chosen profession, and basically making a slave of him and forcing him into like this hyper pretentious world where there is no joy. And
there's no escape.
Yeah. You know what? The only thing I think that would have made this movie better, Samuel L. Jackson.
No.
Needed to be one.
Too far.
No.
Go too far.
He needed to be one of these people. Just one. Just as, because.
He needed to be like the Coast Guard guy that comes in.
Yeah, something, right? That is a tasty burger.
What do you motherfuckers call me?
So speaking of stunt casting,
I just felt like it needed a little bit of levity. Like Anya Taylor-Joy, is that her name?
Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
She's amazing. I love her.
Listen, I have watched enough Food Network and Cooking Channel shows where they have these asshole food critics be judges for these chefs that are everybody in this room.
Like
the
the scales of this movie are so heavily weighed on the pretentious side. I felt like it needed a little more humor to kind of balance it out.
I think Nicholas Hoult is hilarious.
Oh, he's such a douchebag.
We need to talk about Nicholas Hoult for a second.
He's great.
Oh my God. This is incredible. You have to try this.
Because
he's the literal worst person in this room.
Well, Jude and I watched this show called The Great on Hulu, where Nicholas Hoult plays basically the ruler of Russia back when Catherine the Great became his wife and stuff like that. And I used to not like Nicholas Hoult all that much as an actor, but he's so good in this TV show, and he's so good in this movie too. Like he's quickly becoming one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You guys watch the one where he played J.R.R. Tolkien?
No, I haven't seen that.
I can't remember what his name of.
It's called Tolkien.
Is it just called Tolkien?
Yeah.
I saw it. He's really good in that movie.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
He was in that zombie movie.
And he's also
he's Beast.
He's Beast from the X-Men
he's an
movies.
X-Men.
Like he's pretty well rounded. I really like him.
He's great. And like the thing about like he fully is like, all right, you want me to be this guy? I am 100% this guy. And he's so committed, and everything that he does in this is despicable Like when you find out at the end, like he's the only person in this room that knew everybody was going to die.
I know, isn't that weird?
He hired someone to take the place because otherwise he couldn't go.
He is a literal piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit. But everything that he does is also hilarious because he's just so like, this is my dream and this is how I want to die.
Super starstruck.
Yeah, he's
crazy
fanboying over this celebrity chef, and he is just committing everyone to death.
As the movie goes along and stuff starts getting more and more like fucked up at this dining experience, like he's all for it. Like he's just not reacting. He's just like, oh, this tastes really good.
Yeah.
And it's such an interesting thing because like this movie, it just starts off as it's just kind of like, oh, you know, like a bunch of rich people going to have like a dinner
on an island.
And then like with each course, something more and more sinister starts happening. And in fact, it's kind of funny because at first Alex thought that it was like a movie about cannibalism.
I really did. I thought he was going to. I thought he was going to start.
Everybody thought that going in.
Everybody thought.
So there's two things that I thought was going to happen during this movie. Before I had watched it, I thought it was going to go cannibalism. I thought he was going to start cooking his guests.
Yeah, for sure.
And then as I started watching the movie and I realized that wasn't going to happen, I thought he was just going to start like going full saw, like jigsaw on these people. And he cut the guy's finger off.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, especially when he takes that guy's fingers off.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, so he's gonna
eat it.
He's gonna mutilate each one of the guests.
Next course, lady fingers.
Yeah, and it's just every time I thought the movie was gonna do something, it like turned and it did something different.
Yeah,
which is not bad. I was just like expecting something completely different than what I got.
So one of the funny casting stories about this is that originally the movie star, and I don't know if you guys picked up on this, they never refer to him by name in the movie, and it's one of those kind of like meta jokes where it's like, oh, I recognize this guy, but I don't remember his name. So like he's not that famous.
Yeah.
But that part, instead of John Leguizamo, it was originally going to be played by Daniel Radcliffe, which is another Harry Potter.
Oh my God.
Okay.
And the movie that they were going to be referring to as like the thing that they saw him in,
not Dr. Sunshine.
Yeah, so it was going to be Victor Frankenstein, which is an actual movie he did with James McAvoy, and that was going to be the gag.
I remember that movie. Yeah, that was actually a pretty decent Frankenstein movie.
But it was going to be like the movie that they referenced, and when Daniel Radcliffe couldn't do it for whatever reason, they brought John Leguizamo in, and he's not playing himself. He actually based the character that he's playing off of Steven Seagal, who he was in Executive Decision with.
Perfect.
Yeah. So basically, when you're watching John Leguizamo in this movie, he's portraying himself as he experienced Steven Seagal when he worked with him.
Golf clap.
I fucking love him.
Well done.
Yes.
Well done, sir.
Oh my God, amazing.
I think
wait.
I think we're liking this movie more than what you think we did.
Well, okay. So again, I'm not saying it was a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's an enjoyable, well put together film. It's probably got some messaging in it that I didn't pick up on.
I do want to touch on that before.
Yeah. I'm just saying personally, my enjoyment level was pretty low for it. I'm not going to go back and watch it again. Just me. It's just not my type of movie.
I think I would watch it again just
to see if you pick up
to
on
see if
anything else.
I pick up on something new.
I wonder. This is probably a question Kadish has the answer to, but I want to get your guys' opinions on it before he drops the ball, or not drops the ball, but drops the knowledge on us.
Yeah.
The drunk mother.
Uh-huh.
What do you think was the point of her being there the entire time? Is it a prop for what?
For the experience.
What was the message that they were trying to send with that?
To be completely honest with you,
He mentioned.
I'm not sure.
The chef mentioned something about never being good enough.
Yeah.
Which is like a commentary on criticism for probably movies and food and whatnot. And he was never good enough for his mother. But that's about as far deep as I got to it.
But his mother's just sitting there being a raging alcoholic.
Yeah, and she's like, I don't care, your food sucks anyway. Like that's kind of the messaging I got, but I'm wondering, did you have something different in mind?
Something a little different from that.
Go ahead.
I assume I wish I had paid more attention at the end if he had put something on his mom in the s'mores stuff.
Oh,
I didn't pay attention to that.
She died at the end.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I never got I was never good enough for you. I think I got more of a closure, cathartic. I'm going to end the misery for us all. And she was definitely a prop to enhance the experience until the end.
Okay. Kadish, do you have an official answer?
I do have an official answer, yes.
Take it away.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Okay, so basically, there's a lot of like thematic stuff going on in this movie. It's very multi-layered. On the surface, it's just about a chef that goes crazy and starts torturing his guests. But there is this thing, and Alex mentioned it earlier, where basically every table, including the kitchen, represents one of the 7 deadly sins. And basically, there are 12 guests at the restaurant, as in like the Last Supper with the 12 apostles. So there's a lot of like religious kind of like allegory going on in this movie. And with the mother, basically she was the representation of sloth, where she did nothing to protect the chef growing up from his abusive father. And even at the restaurant, she did nothing to stop him. And there's a point in the movie where the chef says, you know, if you guys had really wanted to stop this from happening, you could have.
Sure.
But it's too late now. And so the mother, like, she knows what's happening, which is one of the reasons why she's drinking. She just doesn't care because she's given up. And he was resentful of her as a kid because he was the one who had to basically stab his father to protect her when it was her job to protect him. And so he's carried this resentment for her his entire life. And the whole point of this dinner is to punish people for their sins. And so like this was his way of punishing his mother. And if you look at the point where like he brings out that sous chef that he tried to like basically sexually harass and sleep with, and
she punishes him.
So what she does is she stabs him in the thigh with a pair of scissors, just like he did to his father when he was trying to protect his mother. So he's getting the punishment he gave his father from a woman who actually is standing up for herself. And that's like his cathartic way of basically taking on the sins of his father.
Yeah, there's a lot of anti-male messaging in this too. That whole bit where they
there's a lot of anti-people messaging.
Well, that whole bit where they're like, all right, all the men have 45 seconds to leave if they don't want to be standing by their woman, and every single one of them leaves, and they're all running away.
Nicholas Hoult.
Well, he's like, oh, I'm good.
But
he's
in on the joke though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like he's not playing along with their game. He's in on the joke. So he's kind of an outlier.
But it is funny because like the food critic lady, like she has this like beta male soy boy assistant.
Yeah.
Who basically like everything she says, he just agrees with. And he's like, oh yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And like whenever she asks him his opinion, he gives the wrong answer. And she's like, actually, it's more like this. And he's like, oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. He changes his tune.
And then he's like, I'll come back for you.
Yeah.
I'll send help.
I'll send help immediately.
And what's kind of funny is like the fakeness of these people. So at the beginning of the movie, Anya Taylor-Joy is waiting for like the yacht to show up with Nicholas Hoult, and she's smoking a cigarette. And he's like, please don't do that. Like when you smoke, you destroy your palate. It makes it impossible for you to actually like taste stuff.
She just doesn't give a shit.
And the food critic lady, like later on, you see her smoking. So she's a smoker, but like her whole job is to like taste stuff and give her take on it. And, but it makes it clear that her palate is very insensitive because she's a smoker. Yeah. So she's a complete BS artist. And that's one of the interesting satire things about this movie is that every single person in this movie is so fake and phony, and the experience that they have when they're eating, like he keeps insulting them with like, you know, the breadless bread plate.
Yeah.
And like the gag behind that is that like he serves them a plate with all the accoutrements that come with bread, like butter, ketchup, you know, like stuff like that, emulsion.
And she's still insulting it.
Yeah. But he doesn't serve them the bread because bread is a peasant's food, and these are the elite. And so like they don't deserve to eat like, you know, the bread. And at first they're like, what the fuck is this? Like, we want some bread. And then they start eating the sauce that came with it.
Yeah.
They're like, actually, like I could see this. This is working out. This is good.
If you went to a restaurant and you got served that, what would you do?
I wouldn't eat it. I'd be
like, what?
I'd be
what the hell is this?
The chick, the Taylor-Joy chick.
But
I'd be like, I'm not going to eat this. I'm
She's
still
like,
hungry.
there is no food.
Yeah, there's no food.
Oh, what I loved about that though is that the food critic lady is like, oh well, this sauce
This is
broken.
sophisticated.
And he throughout the rest of the evening keeps serving
her the same sauce.
more of it. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, how's this one?
Yeah.
Here's some more of it.
Yeah. And you know, what's funny about this movie is that with each dish, it's like a bigger and bigger insult to you know, his guests, but they keep justifying it and reframing it as something brilliant, because like that's what this movie is lampooning, is the culinary experience thing. Because like the impetus for it was the main writer of the movie on his honeymoon in Norway, like took a yacht out to like this island where like, you know, he had like this expensive dinner with his wife and stuff.
Just real quick, I think like the current #1 most prestigious restaurant is this one in Norway that you're talking about, right?
And-
And you do have to like do some weird shit. To get out
Well, what
to
was
it.
funny is he was like, as they were going through the dinner, he wasn't really enjoying it all that much, and he realized that there was no way off the island, and so he was like, yeah, actually, you know what, this would make a good movie, and so like that was like the genesis of this film.
Let me ask you guys this question: if you could get, if you could get a reservation to the Chinese Laundry or whatever that is,
the French Laundry
in
California,
would you go?
I don't know what that is.
It's been like the world's like number one restaurant,
Michelin star restaurant or whatever.
It'd be like 5.
Yeah.
Do I have to pay for it?
Oh yeah.
Then no.
But would you go if you had a chance to go
I don't like food that much.
for your hoity-toity, froofy
No.
stuff?
I find that stuff. I've been.
I think I would.
I actually know the sommelier at that place, so
I
we
think
could
I would
probably get
go.
a discount.
I would go, and I think I would talk about mouthfeel, and I would like my foamy.
you dive into this,
my
huh?
foamy fat bacon bits.
Before the end of this, I'm going to do a mouthfeel test on him.
Listen, the best restaurant I've ever been to is like when you look at it, it looks like a hole in the wall, and it's Herbs and Rye. It's like there's a.
I love Herbs and
It's
Rye.
a nothing restaurant. You drive by it, and you're like, I'm not gonna go there. You walk in, it's freaking like a speakeasy, and the food is always incredible.
Have you been in the laundry room at Commonwealth?
I have not.
The secret room where they do like secret cocktails?
Mm-mm.
Only like 20 people can fit in there, and you have to have like an
What
invitation.
about,
See, now
what
if it's a
about-
drink, if it's a bar,
Yeah, it's a cocktail bar.
if
yeah.
it's a bar, I might take you up on it.
So we all like sushi. Alex doesn't.
He's had it.
But there's a very prestigious sushi restaurant here in town. That's like $600 a head.
Which one?
Jesus Christ.
I forget the name
It's
of it.
Nobu.
Oh,
But there's also Kaizen down here where it's
I
$30
love
all you
Kaizen.
can eat.
Yeah.
If you could go to one or the other, if you had a chance to go to the other one, would you go?
No.
Well,
And spend the money?
I
speaking
really
as
like
someone,
Dice Show down
as,
the street.
as someone who's been to both places, I can tell you that Kaizen is way better than Nobu.
I
See,
love Kaizen.
that's
Isn't that crazy?
that's my take on it. Is like the character that I can't say her name.
And Anya Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy. That whole thing where the whole bit with the cheeseburger,
Oh, it's great.
it's accurate as hell.
It
Yeah.
absolutely is.
Absolutely. Like I don't want
like-
any of your fancy
It's
shit.
like, yeah, you can put foam on fucking bacon
Yeah.
and,
Well-
and put it on a crouton and call it food, but can you make a cheeseburger?
Well,
Yeah.
let's explain the
You know?
climax of this movie so people
ahead.
know what we're talking about.
Go ahead.
Do you want it or do you want me to do it?
Go
so
ahead.
they have
Okay.
gone through at this point, I think
6.
5 courses. The 6th course is Tyler's bullshit, which is the one that he prepares. That's
Oh, it's trash.
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this one's right before the dessert, which is the final course.
Right.
And-
So at one point, Margot, Anya Taylor-Joy, she gets up, and throughout like the whole movie, before each course, the chef like claps really loud to get everyone's attention. So she stands up and she claps really loud and she says, "I don't like your food, and I would like to send it back." And he's dumbfounded.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, like, he sent her on a mission. He was like, you need to decide if you're a giver or a taker. I'm going to send you on a mission. You have to go get this barrel of something.
Well,
And
he's mad that she's there to begin with.
Yeah.
Because she's not supposed to
She's
be
not
there.
supposed to be there. So he's like giving her the opportunity to decide whose team she's on. She's going to die either way. But are you with us or are you with them? So he sends her on this mission to go get this barrel, and she finds like his private quarters, which no one's allowed in. And she sees like where he started, and she sees all the news clippings, and he used to start at this burger joint and he got all these awards for it, and in the news clippings he genuinely looks happy. And she says, "You have taken all of the joy out of these experiences, and I would like to send this back." And he's like, "Well, you haven't been eating." And she said, "You told us not to eat." Yeah. So he's like, "Well, what can I make you?"
A cheeseburger.
And that's the thing that was the last time he was happy when he was cooking.
Right. And you know what?
That's pretty good.
You know
Yeah.
what this movie made me do? It made me wonder if, like, you know, there's all these celebrity chefs that we've been watching for the last 20 years. I wonder, to me, if Bobby Flay is happy making his bullshit that he makes on these stupid shows that we watch all the time, or if, or you know,
It's the same for anyone in any
Right.
profession. Like, are you going to be happy when you have to edit 40 videos a week full time?
right. You know, it's like I will admit, there's one celebrity chef that I want to go check out. I want to go check out one of Morimoto's restaurants.
What?
Ooh, yeah.
But he's like the
This
only
guy
one.
loves
He's the
celebrity
OG Iron
chefs.
Chef.
Right. You know, and it's
The
like
guy
I
made
feel
fish
like
ice cream good.
exactly. But even then, I'm kind of wondering: is he just a sellout, or is he does he still have the joy?
Dude, he
that
dominated
had?
Iron Chef on 2 continents.
Oh yeah, I know. That's why I want to go to one of his.
These guys are the
Nicholas
pretentious.
Hoult,
Yes.
food critic.
I want the.
Me and Jude are like, can we just have a cheeseburger?
I'll be the hoe. I don't give a shit.
But what I'm saying is
the climax is okay.
What I'm saying is, there's not a lot of celebrity chefs that impress me anymore. I've been to too many restaurants and chefs restaurants that here in our town that I've not liked. 99% of these restaurants that are in this town are completely overpriced and disappointing.
And I think that's also
and
interesting too, because we live in a town where it's accessible, and
it's
most people
absolutely
don't.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like 15 diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Let's get
in this
Kadish's
town.
the climax.
Yeah,
thing.
so like the climax of this movie is when she orders a cheeseburger,
Right.
and she's like, "No, I don't want a frou-frou frickin' deconstructed cheeseburger. I want a real, honest to God, simple cheeseburger."
And
he's
there's
like,
even that moment where she's like, "Does it come with fries?" And he's like,
Oh, because
"Is
he's
the
like,
fryer still on?
yeah,
You want crinkle cut or?"
yeah.
yeah, and he also asked her what type of cheese she wants, and she's like, American cheese.
cheese.
And,
Duh.
and he's like,
And he's like, "Yep, that's the right answer."
That's the best
Yeah, yeah.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
and so he goes and he makes her a hamburger, and you can see on his face that he's just happy to be making something simple
cheeseburger.
and good.
That somebody can
Yeah.
enjoy.
Yeah. And so like he serves it to her. She's like, now that's a cheeseburger. But then she goes, but I'm afraid my eyes were too big for my stomach. Can I get
Can I
this
get it to go?
And what's interesting is that at the beginning of the movie, one of the reasons that he decided to kill his business partner, the chef, is because he kept insisting on substitutions. And he's like, here at Hawthorne, there are no substitutions. And Anya Taylor-Joy's character, Margot, was a substitution.
Yeah.
And so because of that, and because she got what he was going for, and like, you know, actually like experienced the love of eating and cooking again, he was like, okay, you can take this to go. And so like he let her live, he let her go. And it was kind of interesting because out of all the rich frou-frou pretentious characters at the experience, she was the call girl, she was the prostitute. And if you look at like the Last Supper, the 12 Apostles, all the religious imagery, she's like Mary Magdalene. She's like the greatest, you know, follower of, you know, the Savior. And so like, of course she's going to be the one to survive because she gets it. And it's just kind of like an interesting thematic climax to this movie where like the whole messaging is kind of wrapped up in this symbolic, like, okay, I want a simple cheeseburger, and because I wanted that, I get to live. So
Yeah.
Good for her.
It's
I really like that part. Yeah,
I did too.
Yeah.
It was a good ending. I did. It took me out of it a little bit once shit started going awry, and this will be my final thoughts on this one too. Is
Okay.
like once the shit started going awry, the fact that the people didn't try to escape or fight back or anything like that kind of took me out of it, because I'm like, at this point in time, he's chopping people's fingers off and shit like that. I'm like, these people are not going to sit back down and continue their meal when they know he just already told them you're all going to die
Somebody
tonight.
went and blew his head off.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I find it
He
really
makes Nicholas Hoult go kill himself in the back room.
him. I believe
No,
because he's a
He,
fanboy.
he's a
he didn't make
cultist.
him kill himself. In fact, originally in the script, he was just washing dishes for the rest of the night.
Go be a dishwasher.
but they decided to have him you know, because he felt his failure so bad,
Yeah,
like, kill himself.
Him because he's such a fanboy. I believed that he would stay and he would do all the shit that the
But
chef
the
said.
reaction
I
of
have-
everyone else is just like, "Yep, okay." Well,
I do
keep your
have
head
one
down.
question before you give your final rating.
Okay.
So this is being touted as a comedy. It's a dark comedy. Would you guys classify this as a comedy?
It's a
movie?
satire,
Yeah.
is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But one of the things I wanted to ask you guys about
Okay.
is that, so at about midway through the movie, there's a part where sous chef Jeremy, who's like one of these sous chefs that we get introduced to early on in the episode or in the movie, he basically comes out and he's going to be the one responsible for the next course, and it's called
Jeremy's mess.
Jeremy's Mess.
Yes.
And there's a scene here where basically in front of everyone, he's humiliated by the chef, and then he takes his own life by shooting himself in the mouth. And I can remember when we were first watching this movie, we watched it, me, Jude, Tom, and Tom's girlfriend, Conspiracy Tom, and everyone was like, "Holy crap!" Like it was just like a really shocking moment. And that was the moment where everyone was, where like the movie turned and got super, super dark, because everything before that was very subtle. And you know, it's funny watching like the dinos' reactions, because they're like, "This can't be real. This isn't real. That was an actor. That was special effects." You know, and then like as their situation slowly starts, you know, kind of dawning on them, they get more and more kind of like, this can't be happening.
It gets really dark really fast.
Yeah. So I want to know your guys' reaction to that. Scene.
My jaw was on the floor, and I rewound it and watched it again, because I was like, did that just happen?
It's like, there's no way.
There's no way that just happened.
Get out of here.
It was pretty surprising. It was good.
But you know, for a movie where we knew it was going to be a dark kind of, I was expecting a horror movie.
I was too.
This was a comedy kind of dark satire movie, like we just said, but that was super dark.
Yeah.
All right, and it worked for me. I mean,
I'm gonna say it's a good movie. It's very well made. Kadish pointed out a lot of the symbolism underneath. You know, the 7 deadly sins. I knew immediately as soon as I counted the tables, and I was like, "Oh, it's 7 deadly sins." Something along those lines.
You see that in everything.
It's in everything,
but it's a good theme. I mean, it's a different take. I've never seen that.
And you're being punished for your sins. It was like it's 7 from Brad Pitt and whatnot. Anyway, I'm not gonna watch the movie again. I didn't love it enough to be like, "Oh, this movie is so good. I can't wait to watch it again and dissect it." I'm like, yeah, it was a good movie. It was fine, and it was a nice experience. But that's going to be a one-time watch for me. I'm going to give it 3 stars right down the middle. Solid acting, interesting plot. A little unbelievable that nobody was trying to escape or run away or anything like that. Like, it just kind of, that fell apart a little bit for me, that they stayed and let them put fucking marshmallows and light them on fire.
They're a bunch of like liberal snowflakes.
What did you think? I know we're probably going to go a little long here, but I don't care. What did you guys think of the Elsa character, of the hostess or whatever she's called?
The Asian lady?
The Asian lady.
Oh.
Like his right hand lady.
She was devout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was a cult, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. And
The kitchen staff.
She was the Lord's favorite. Mm-hmm. She didn't want to give that up.
They had their weird communal housing, and they lived
no privacy, no communication.
This was like Heaven's Gate on a food restaurant.
And there's that point where Margot, Anya Taylor-Joy's character, is being sent out on a mission by the chef, and that character, I forget her name, Elsa, comes in and is like,
"You're not going to replace me.
You're not going to replace me," and they battle to the death. Yeah.
I thought she was a great character.
Yeah.
She's cool.
I really did.
She was so like, "Can we please have some bread?" No.
Yeah. And there's that scene where she whispers to that guy, where she's like, "You will eat less than you want, but more than you deserve."
Yeah.
And it was so creepy.
It was I just loved her character. I thought she was so good.
Do you guys want to know what all of the courses were? Are you interested?
Yeah, give it to us.
So they get the oysters on the boat. And then when they get there, the amuse-bouche is some melon thingy.
Some melon bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their first course is scallops and island plants.
Do you have the title cards?
Kind of.
What they're called?
The second course is no bread. The third course is the chicken thigh taco.
That sounds great.
The fourth course is the mess, R.I.P. Jeremy. It's a filet, marrow, and vegetables.
Okay, stop.
Yes.
Marrow. Would you guys go to a restaurant and order?
You can order bone marrow.
Marrow's delicious.
Would you do? Is that something you order?
Probably.
Yeah.
I've never gone to a restaurant.
It's really good.
Bone marrow. It sounds disgusting.
No, it's good.
Keep going.
Okay, then they have the palate cleanser tea. And then the fifth course is Man's Folly, which is where he gets stabbed. It's the Dungeness crab yogurt. Then they have a passant egg.
I don't know what any of these words mean.
Passant.
Oh, that's the last guest. Okay, so the last guest caught, he gives the passant egg.
Out of everything that they had on the food menu in this thing, the only thing I want to eat is that burger.
Yeah.
I know, right? Me too.
The sixth course is Tyler's bullshit, which is the undercooked lamb.
Yeah.
Then the supplemental cheeseburger and fries, and then the final course is the human s'mores.
Okay. I didn't find it believable that they would just sit there and allow them to burn them to life or burn them to death. I just was like, there's no way. These people wouldn't be screaming, running around like crazy.
You think they would like fight back.
They would do something. And that's my only negative about this movie.
But I'm telling you, like, they're a bunch of liberal snowflakes. So
Yeah.
of course they're thinking like, oh, we're, you know, this isn't real. And by the time they realize like how real it is,
It's like, oh, we deserve to die anyway.
no, there's no way. Kadish, what's your...
There was that funny bit where like John Leguizamo's assistant, he's the chef turns to her and he's like, did you go to college? And she's like, yes. And he's like, where'd you go? Brown. It's like, student loans. She's like, no. She just looks so depressed and he's like, yeah, you're dying tonight. Just because she was rich enough to afford to go to an Ivy League.
What's your star rating, Kadish?
Okay, so I did enjoy this movie on an intellectual level,
Yeah.
but on a like, oh, I'm really digging this movie level, like it's kind of meh. Like it's hard to engage with these characters. And originally, the main character Margot was going to be played by Emma Stone, and she's really the only character that you can have any real sympathy for in this movie. But at the same time, she's not like a character that you have an easy time connecting with.
Right.
And so like you really don't care about any of the characters in this film. And it makes it hard to connect to the events that are happening because the events are like, everyone's so pretentious. The entire scenario seems a little bit contrived. So like, yeah, on an intellectual level, and the movie snob in me is like, oh, this movie is quite brilliant in the thematic category, but at the same time, it's kind of like a boring movie in a lot of ways. So I'm going to go with Alex on this. I'm going to give it a solid 3 stars.
Okay. How about you, buddy?
That's funny because you guys know me, and I generally hate
Pretentious movies.
pretentious snobby movies. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie.
When are they going to make
I was not bored once during this movie. And this is a movie that I actually kind of want to watch again to try and pick up on stuff that I didn't pick up on before. I had a great time with this movie. I think it's mostly because I do like to make fun of food snobs. You know what I mean? I've watched a lot of Food Network. I've watched a lot of cooking shows.
There's also
where there's a lot of I get a lot of the jokes that they're making in this thing. I give this movie I give this movie a solid 3.5 stars.
Okay.
I do want to watch it again. I don't know how many times I'm going to watch it, but I think it deserves at least one more viewing from me.
There's a lot of
try to pick up on
crossover
stuff.
with Film Critic too. If you want to, so you could take a lot of the same lessons out of this.
But I like the movie Chef.
With John Favreau?
With Iron Man guy. Yeah. John Favreau. Yeah. I thought that was
a good movie.
Too.
I like that movie too. But that's all about the love of cooking. Though.
Yeah.
This
is the opposite.
Yeah.
So I have no problem.
I love all like the reality shows like Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
You see Gordon Ramsay just lose it on people. And you know what's funny is I actually had a friend who went to Hell's Kitchen at one point in order to like eat there, like it was like a group of him and his friends, and when they were filming, like they kept messing up in the kitchen, and so the only thing that they kept serving the guests was bread, and so eventually Gordon Ramsay just called it a night and sent everyone home because like nothing was up to his standards, and so like the only thing that they had to eat there was bread, and when I asked my buddy like how it was, he's like, well, the bread was good. So it's kind of funny.
Jude, what do you think about this movie, Jude? Oh, wait, she just left in the middle of
This is unfiltered. This is filtered. I want you to test the mouth.
Oh, she's been messing with me. She's doing some stuff to mess with me here.
Okay.
So we're doing some mouthfeel stuff.
Give it your final thought and a rating.
I really enjoyed it. This is the second time I watched it, and I thought it was just as enjoyable the second time as it was the first time. And I think it's a really interesting movie. I do think that you should watch this movie because I think it's a really interesting watch. Is it fun to watch? I don't know. Depends on what your intake of, dark satire is. I thought it was a really great watch. I really enjoyed all of the characters. I thought they were very well portrayed and written. It was a movie that you can fully just believe everyone who's portraying a character and get on board with. Are they despicable? Yeah. Is it kind of hard to watch? Yeah. But it's very interesting.
All right, guys, that's it for the podcast. Thanks for watching. If you guys would like to support what we're doing here, go to saltynerdclub.com and sign up for the club membership area. You guys get a lot of extra content, a couple extra minutes at the end of each podcast we reserve for our paying customers. And also we're doing Star Trek commentaries on the original series. So we watch each episode, and you guys get a chance to watch along with us over there on Patreon. So head over to saltynerdclub.com, $5 a month. That's the place to be. We're going to do a mouthfeel thing, and then we're going to get out of here.
Mouthfeel test.
What are we doing?
So
This
one is unfiltered. So take a drink of this one first. A little bit. And then once you're done, then drink that one. Does it feel different in your mouth? And then go back to this one. Does it have a different mouthfeel?
Please don't say mouthfeel.
Too late. Mouthfeel.
No different.
That's it. That's it. That's it. The movie's bullshit. Everything is bullshit. Go get a hamburger. Have a great day.
It just has a terrible palate. That's all.
He's been smoking all day.
He's been smoking too long.
I was smoking too much. So yeah,
All right.
mouthfeel.
Oh, God bless. We're
Shout
so
out.
happy.
Shout out to In-N-Out.
Is it a clam or an oyster?
Can't go wrong.
I don't know.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching the review. See you later. Next
All
time.
right.
Next course or whatever. Put a food pun in there somewhere.
Stay salty.
Stay salty. Not too salty, though.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.